Hello, you are watching the latest edition of DBE TV News. Thank you for tuning in. This bulletin is every Friday on the DBE TV channel 122 on OpenView at 12 in the afternoon and on Bricks TV channel 509 at 4:30 if you are a StarSat subscriber, also on Fridays. Or watch it on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel. My name is Tsehohajo Moagi. Let's take a look at the leading stories this week. Nhlanhla Chabalala's family seeks answers following his death at a school in Tsakane, while Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi ropes in an independent investigative law firm to investigate the circumstances surrounding the incident. Minister Angie Motshekga welcomes the virtual classroom solution brought about by Vodacom. The Free State Education Department launches an anti-bullying campaign in a bid to stop the scourge of not just bullying, but racism too. The Limpopo government hosts an education indaba with the aim to better the education system in that province and to increase the matric pass rate. The Northern Cape receives a newly rebuilt primary school. Now we would love to hear from you on any stories or ideas that you may have. Do get in touch with us on Twitter at DBE_SA and at DBE TV News. Facebook, DBESA, Instagram, DBESA. You can use the hashtag DBE News. Let's start here. Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi met with the family of Nhlanhla Chabalala, who died allegedly after an altercation. The grade 10 learner from Rishokofaditswe Secondary School died after allegedly being assaulted by a school official and a security guard at Tsakane Secondary School. Lesufi visited the family and the school to understand the circumstances surrounding the incident and to offer a message of support. Our reporter, Robinson Ngola, has filed this report.
Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi has sent his condolences and apologies to the family of Nhlanhla Chabalala, who are seeking answers after their child died, allegedly after being assaulted at school in Tsakane.
According to the school, Elena, who was not the student at Tsakane secondary school, came to the school claiming that there was a fight over the weekend and someone took cash and their cell phones, and he was there to retrieve it. And there was a commotion until the school retrieved the school bag, and on the basis of that identified that the learner comes from another school and phoned the principal of the school to explain what happened. And the other day the said learner came with what now we can confirm is a toy gun back at the school. Obviously the intention, according to the family, was suspect that it might have been to come and then defend himself against the people that have taken his cell phone. And in the process there was a scuffle where the teacher and the general assistant were trying to retrieve the gun. The families of the strong view that during that process their child was seriously harmed and attacked using the golf partner, the golf stick and other things. So on that basis, they really believe that that's where the injury came from. But according to the school, say that after retrieving the gun, they called the police and handed over the learner to the police in a good state. And the police, because of his age, they could not arrest him. They brought him at home. And we need to get from the police the state in which they left him when he had at home. So because of those gray areas and unexplained activities that the family feels that need to be attended.
Ntlantla Chabalala's family is urging the principal and the school to speak the truth about what happened to their child.
From Isisasuga, azange sithathiwe siswele nali abantwana ngabe bayafunda. Manje inkinga siyasaba nenkinga ngoprincipal ungafunda ngoba neqiniso protector abantu bakhe. Ngiyavuma umntanami ngikasekwesinye isikole ungasisikolo sakhe. Ngiyakuvuma lokho ukuthi kube wrong kodwa ngalelo langa afika ngalo ngoba ikolo zonke bezikhishiwe ayizilandela umuntu wakhe girlfriend yakhe. Umntwana uhamba ngolwesibili nje uyofuna i-school bag sakhe ne-cellphone yakhe. Sebayitholile leyo toy gun leyo kade kuyiphethe. Okay, mama ukonfirmile endlini ukuthi uyibonile. Sebayitholile leyo toy gun leyo umntwana ayiphethe. Amandla angaka ukuthi azashawe kanje. Asuke laphi? I-security yesikolo iphatha kanjani igalstik igadini lapha? Abantwana oriyiboshwa. Iqelemba lifunana lijardini lesikolo. Ngicela minister nawo ngisize lapho minister. Umntwana mazoshawa igalstik iphuma kuleli egada kiyo ama security. Shothi iziningi into eyihlala lapha ezingamelanga zibe lapha. Ngiyacela ukusizwa silimele kakhulu somndeni.
Lesufi then met with the representative council of learners, the school governing bodies, and parents of both Tsakane Secondary School and Reshofaditswe Secondary School. He has assured them that an independent investigative law firm will investigate the circumstances surrounding the incident.
But what I liked about that family, the father of the child said to me, MEC, I know the colleagues of my child might be feeling otherwise. But there must be no one who must disrupt schools in Tsakane using the name of my child. And that I appreciated a lot. And that is why I have appointed an independent law firm, not in the department, not in the school, to investigate what happened to that child so that we can have answers and take action. So that part is covered, I can assure you. We'll have those results. And I said, the police must also give us the forensic or post-mortem report so that it must be part of this report.
Lesufi said an education summit in the Tsakane area will be convened to find solutions to some of the challenges in schools. Robinson Ngola reporting for DBE TV News in Tsakane.
Minister Angie Motshekga has welcomed the virtual classroom solution created and donated by Vodacom. The classroom solution provides a digital learning platform to make curriculum content available beyond the traditional classroom setup. Motshekga said this solution in secondary schools will allow teachers to transform their educational practices by providing improved educational content and more effective teaching and learning methods.
We've always, program director, thought about what is it that how to bring ICTs in education. It's not been quite easy. The costs were prohibitive, the skills not there, and the solutions not worked through. And in the meantime, in those 25,000 schools, we have to do what we have to do every day. So whilst we have to make sure that our kids are safe, they are fed, they're transported, they're taught, we also had to look at the future to say the future is around ICTs. How do we then begin to ensure that we are also in line with what the future demands of us? So to have partners who really have the skills, and not that I know you don't have necessarily free time, but the skills to really look at those areas that you need to look at whilst we are sorting the present also has been a very useful process. So, as I said, I'm pleased. I'll tell the Minister of Communication to say, indeed, in terms of Connect South Africa, Vodacom is steering ahead, but basically for us, it's really giving impetus to what we've already started and making sure that we can move faster and better.
Motshekga says this investment will benefit learners and teachers in the world of ICT.
And I must say the investment made by Vodacom in public schooling today has ripple effects benefiting this generation, our learners and teachers. And so it's not only about learning and teaching and about devices, but it's to lay a solid foundation for the country in the world of ICTs. We believe that the country must learn not to spend our children's inheritance. Instead, we must be investing to benefit even the next generation. We always supposed to say education is not for the future. Education, or it's not for your future life. Education is life itself. It's life itself. So this investment really is investing in our children's lives, not in their future, but in their lives. In the main, the virtual classroom will make a huge difference to our teachers and learners in selected schools by improving connectivity and making gadgets accessible, enhancing computing skills to appreciate the power of ICTs. But as I say, it goes even beyond that in our sector.
At the same time, the Chief Director for MST says the virtual classroom is the future of learning and teaching.
This is one of the initiatives that emanates from the partnership between the Department of Basic Education with the Department of Communications, where all the telcos report. We are launching a solution that was designed as part of our future response to pandemics that might disrupt education, and using technology to reach out to learners and provide education remotely. It is an exciting moment for us to be testing the solution with Vodacom today, and the Minister will be launching the part that Vodacom has been allocated by the regulator ICASA to implement. We are excited, and we look forward to using the solution to support delivery of curriculum, particularly remotely, when a teacher is in the classroom and children are anywhere geographically, and the teacher can be able to deliver the lesson to children with the devices that they have at their disposal.
After the break, we find out more about the No Racism, Bullying, Sexism and Antisocial Behavior campaign launch in the Free State.
So the Teddy Bear Foundation renders services to victims of child abuse and their families, providing psychosocial support and medico-legal support. It is critical that children are provided with this opportunity of returning to schools. A lot of them are suffering as a result of COVID-19, the unintended consequences of COVID-19, the deprivations that children are subjected to. We're looking at where previously children had access to feeding schemes. Now children are facing starvation, so that's a deprivation. Many children are presenting with increased levels of anxiety, fear, confusion, trauma, and a lot of other mental health conditions. The reality is that children are going to be infected regardless of wherever they are. The vector of transmission one needs to realize is that it's adult on child and not child on adult. COVID exists everywhere. It's within the home environment, within the surrounding areas. Less children have died of COVID-19. What we are faced with is that more children are going to be dying of starvation and food nutrition and food security.
The Limpopo Education Department, led by Premier Stanley Mathabata, held an education indaba aimed at exploring avenues and looking into the declining trend in the National Senior Certificate performance. In the 2021 matric year, the Limpopo Education Department slipped to the last place. The department has vowed to increase their marks and ensure they do much better than in previous years. Education MEC, Poli Bushielo, raised concerns that some learners still don't attend the extra lessons organized either by the department or the respective school.
We've arranged enrichment programs where we've increased the time between 7:30 and 2:30, and then others up to 6 o'clock. And also we are doing extra classes over the weekends, and then the camps. Premier, one of the challenges which the stakeholders here must help us is that after going through everything to deal with the issue, you still have learners who don't attend the extra classes. You still have learners who don't come to camps. And Premier, you can guess that many who don't come are from school. And some principals even go to their homes to look for them. And they know that in terms of our policy, even when they don't come to school, they will be promoted, what we call progressed. So we want this forum to assist us to say how do we ensure that we increase quality teaching and learning in our school.
Bushielo has raised concerns about the location of taverns, especially around schools.
The issue of location of taverns in our communities. Taverns, I know there are regulations. I've spoken to MUC Tabomkoni. There's some distances. There must be some distances between the schools and where the tavern is. In Bolobedu, in one area, there are almost more than 10 taverns around the school. And the principal was saying as soon as they switch the music, the learners just pick up their school bag and go out dancing and never came back until the next week. So it is a challenge for us, and I think as this forum, we will be able to deal with the issue.
Meanwhile, Limpopo Premier Stanley Mathabata said it is important that the province provides quality education for all learners.
Indeed, we desire quality education in order to achieve the following key outcomes. 1, promote social cohesion, national identity, and patriotism. To develop and prepare learners to partake in the socio-economic and scientific imperatives affecting society. To prepare learners to actively participate in the labor market regime of our country, whether as entrepreneurs or as part of the skilled labor force necessary for the industrialization of the economy, and to ensure that they are informed, rational and active participants in our democratic dispensation.
Mathabata says quality education cannot be compromised.
Our key mandate here is to review the state of education in the province. In doing so, we will focus on early childhood development, primary and secondary schools level. We know that majority of the people in the country, or in this country, are only interested in the grade 12 results. However, as Limpopo, we decided that schooling needs a holistic and coherent approach. The Limpopo Development Plan has prioritized the provisioning of accessible, relevant, quality, and quantitative education as one of the strategic priorities for the province.
He went on to question whether the education system in the Limpopo province was still relevant for learners.
Is the education system itself that we are imparting to our children still relevant? If it is not, what is it that we need to do? We always say we want to diversify our economy. And certainly, ladies and gentlemen, there's no ways in which we are going to do that without skilled labor force, without skilled entrepreneurs, skilled risk takers, who knows exactly how to calculate so that they can make decisions that are not too risky for them. So the education system that we impart, that we deliver to our children, that we recommend to our children, must actually be the education system that is going to be relevant to the needs of our economy, the economy of today.
Moving over now to the Free State, where Education MEC Tate Magwe has launched the No Racism, Bullying, Sexism and Antisocial Behavior campaign in schools. He says the process will always be interactive, as it will include various stakeholders in order to find solutions to the scourge of bullying and other antisocial behavior. This launch follows incidents of alleged racism, assault and bullying at various schools, including Wessels Murray Secondary, Dagbreek Primary School and Bothaville Hoërskool.
This is just a launch, but this process is going to be very interactive. We're going to interact with, as we did now, with the principals, but we're going to talk to the teachers themselves, right? So schools will be very different. The parents also are going to be engaged, like we did in Dagbreek. So the parents will be engaged, and obviously based on whatever people are saying, approaches will be very different.
Stakeholders who attended the launch say it is important that there is a consistent communication and building good relationships with all.
There is a lot of legislation in regard to the SA Schools Act. It's about using those tools to your advantage. That's the first thing. The second thing is, we are in a relationship game, which means is that when you've got at least between 12% of a different culture in your school, you need to actively start managing it. And that's why building relationships is the most possible, probably the most single important thing that you need to look at. But when people are unhappy about not a good relation, then stuff comes up like racism, bullying, ill discipline, those types of things that we need to look at. So for me, yes, there should be policy in place, but the most important thing is building good relationships and understanding one another.
Stay tuned. Coming up, we move over to KwaZulu-Natal province as the MEC monitors the progress made by a school that was opened last year.
I mean, education is the best thing that you can give to a human being, for their mental well-being, for their emotional well-being, for their health, but also for their safety. They're safer here because if they're at home, we are at work, you don't know who will come to your house and do what to your kids. But when they come to school, they're in groups. The first school we went to, it's all systems go, all 100% of the learners, grade 12 learners had gone, 100% has come back. Schools are good for children. They're not only good for them because they have to read and learn, they allow them to really socialize with their peer groups. They give them a program, a structure. They wake up in the morning, wash, go to school, a very structured life, which is how you raise children. You must raise children within a structure. But even securing their future and making sure that your kids can even live beyond you, schools are the best thing to do. So to teachers to say, let's do it. It's such a heartwarming profession because you're dealing with human beings. You're changing people's lives. You can see teachers. I mean, the class we went to, you could see that the teacher was so passionate about their work. And my humble appeal to communities, we rely on them because when we leave this place, these assets remain in their communities.
Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga has urged the Vergenoeg community in the Northern Cape to protect the newly built Rearata Primary School. Motshekga was joined by the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mantashe, the Northern Cape Premier, Dr. Zamani Saul, and MEC for Education, Zolile Munakali. The 14-classroom school can accommodate 500 learners.
We've said it because we're here to hand over the asset to the community. We expect the community to look after it because we're here only for today, won't be here again. So it's remaining with them, it's their asset. We're appealing to them to really make sure that they look after the asset.
Plans are in place to install ICT facilities at the school, a move the minister says is needed in all public schools.
One of the gifts that came from Luton South 32 was an ICT lab. So what they need to do is to make sure that they train our teachers and it's integrated into the curriculum. Where we have started fully and completed is in your special schools. Those we have all covered, all the 457 special schools. Now we're working your ordinary public schools, and we're rolling. Some provinces start from your FET phase, others are starting from your foundation phase, but there's work in that area.
Plans are in place to install ICT facilities at the school, a move the minister says is needed in all public schools. The rebuilding of the school cost about 20 million rand by South 32 Hotazel Manganese Mines as part of the company's social and labour plan as adopted in the mining charter. Northern Cape Education MEC Zolile Monakali expressed gratitude for the rebuilt school and emphasized that education is a societal matter.
Within a space of 2 years, South 32 has illustrated to us that they really want to cooperate and work together with the community. They have built 2 schools within a space of 2 years in this community of Hotazel, as well as here in the community of Vergenoeg. It's for this reason that we are excited as an Executive Authority of Education in the Northern Cape, that if they are coming to the party as the mining house, and they are working the talk of turning the conditions of our communities around, not only through employment opportunities, but also through community development and investment.
That's how we end this bulletin this week on Channel 122 on OpenView on YouTube and on BRICS TV Channel 509 Starset. Before we go, as Term 1 comes to an end for the inland provinces, we remind and urge parents to encourage their children to read every day, even during the holidays. Also, read with your children. The department is of the belief that if parents read to children daily, they associate reading and books with closeness, caring, and happiness. They develop a love for books that is likely to last throughout their lives. And of course, readers are leaders. Thank you for watching.